crime tales to trivia gold. Generations collide, hear the laughter and sighs, exploring our world through curious eyes. Join me on this journey where the light meets the dark, from mysteries unsolved to igniting a spark. Travel and traffic, culture and news, every episode a chance for different views, where love transcends time and space. Let's go. Welcome to another evening with the Maven. And tonight is Cambodia night. So anything you want to know about Cambodia, I'm here for you. I see Mumsy is in the house. Welcome. And I'm here with baby Wilbur right here. I know you can't see her, but she's doing good. She's quiet. That's good. I want to keep it that way. There's one thing that I thought about. Whoops. Did I freeze up for a minute there? Frugal is in the house. You just got home. Great. That was a long ride. I met Frugal for lunch today. So speaking of life in Cambodia, you meet up with friends and met some new friends, Alan and Dean. And so that was fun. We had a really nice lunch. We had Khmer food. We ended up three of us ordering the same thing, which was noodles, and which is kind of like a spaghetti type noodle, maybe just a little bit thicker than spaghetti, with some small slices of beef, and there were some vegetables like carrots and something green. I don't think it was celery, but whatever it was. Stargazer in the house. Welcome. You watch all of those YouTubers. Excellent. Yeah, good shows. And so, yeah, if you're interested in the temples and stuff, then Frugal is definitely the channel to watch. He is in the description. Now that I've met Alan and Dean, I need to add when the show's over, I will go back and I will add them into my description list. Gibbo also in the house. It was broccoli stock. Okay. I was thinking it might have been that, but I wasn't sure. Do Cambodians have a gibbo? You know, we have gibbons. We do have gibbons. So I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I did a show on the costs, all the real costs of living here in Cambodia. And I left out one, and that is aircon. Getting your aircon cleaned. Some people, they say it should be cleaned every month. I go with about like once every 6 months. And it's about $20 to have the guys come out and they wash it all out and everything. Yeah, so if you want to spend $20 a month, you could get it cleaned every month. Or you can stretch that out, do it once every 6 months, once every 4 months, 3 times a year, whatever. It depends on how much you use it too, you know. So there's that cost in addition to everything else that I had mentioned before. I made a list of all the like random things that I got to get done, you know, and I had that on it. I don't have the $20 to clean it right now, but with the hot season coming up, well, and also you feel it, you feel the difference, because the air conditioning units here are not central air like in the United States. It's more of like, you know, when you have a window unit or when you have a swamp cooler, it's not a swamp cooler. It's actual air conditioning, but it doesn't have a thermostat for the house. the way we do in the US or in Canada or in other Western countries. So if that's why, you know, in the US, it's like, close the doors and everything. They're not like that. The concept of aircon in Cambodia is like a fan that blows cold air. So you will actually see people with an air conditioning unit, a standing air conditioning unit that's outside. I've seen that, you know, so that they, you know, they have cold air blowing on them, right? However, if you're in a house, you know, in an apartment, and you have your air conditioning unit, it is good to keep your doors closed and your windows closed, and cool your room, and then turn it off for a while. And most units actually have, like, if you know how to set the remote control, there's a timer thing on there where you can, like, have it go on for 15 minutes every hour or something. I've never, like, figured all that out. Room AC, Mumsy says, yeah, you know. But yeah, it's on the mind because the heat is rising. The heat is rising. It's mid-February. The same thing last year. It was in February. Prior to last year, it was always March when it started getting hot. And February had some of the coldest weeks, either January or February. And yeah, it's climbing. It in Celsius, everything's Celsius out here, so it's like it's been 39-ish, 39, 40-ish, which is nearing 100. It's been in the 90s for the highs, Fahrenheit. The 90s Fahrenheit reach it, and the feels like is over 100. However, when you're living in Cambodia, there's only really 2 months out of the year, March and April, where you get the heat wave. You know, other than that, it's fine. It's bearable. And there's lots of ways to beat the heat. Oh, 39 Fahrenheit. That's cold. That's almost freezing, Mumsy. In California, you know. But yeah, there's always a couple of weeks a year in California where you do get the cold weather, and you have to watch that your pipes don't freeze and things. Yeah, for sure. And then you get the fog in the Central Valley. I hope the fog finally lifted for you. But here in Cambodia, ways that you can beat the heat, you can go swimming. There's plenty of gyms and rooftop bars and things that will have a day pass. There are a couple of water parks. They're a little bit pricey. I think they're like $15 or so for the day. You might be able to catch a promotion here or there. And that can be fun. You can go to the malls and just walk around the malls. You can go watch a movie. Those are air conditioned. So you don't have to spend your own money on your aircon. So during those peak heat hours, you can go do something else. Movies and malls are fun. Speaking of movies, oh my gosh, there's a movie so if you're in Cambodia, I want to encourage you to go see a movie, and I'll find the trailer, and give me a sec. Water Park and Siem Reap is $2. Wow, that's pretty good. Gosh, what's the name of the movie? Far Away, Close to You. Far Away, Close to You. Khmer film. Now it's in Khmer, but it has English subtitles. And okay, here's the official trailer. So give me a second. I will share this tab. They will probably be submitting it to the committee for Oscar submission, or to be considered. I think we might have 2 or 3 films this year that will need to be considered, and this is one of them. So I'm not saying that it's going to be submitted for the Oscars, but one of the things that qualifies a film is that it has to stay in the cinema for 7 days. So if people stop seeing it, then it will, it won't qualify. So please go see this film, and it's worth it. Okay, show on stream. So here we go. Here's the trailer for this film. I'll just say it's about these 4 friends that are getting ready to have their senior year in high school. So they're thinking about college and everything. And then one of them has to go live in the countryside and get separated from the other ones. So it's between life in the countryside and life in Phnom Penh City.
You make me wanna be a better man, make you feel my love. Apple! Apple Tom! មនុស្សពីរនាក់បើចង់ជួបគ្នាតែមិនមាននិស្ស័យក៏មិនអាចជួបគ្នាបានដែរមេឃស្រឡះនឹងភ្លៀងធ្លាក់ដំណើរគ្នាវាអត់មានកើតឡើងទេត្រឹមបានទេអូនជាអ្នកណាអូនមកពីណាមិនដេចឲ្យបងលងស្នេហ៍តុងវល់អឡោមេដកក្នុងចិត្តបងនោះវាគ្រូចាប់នេះលោកគ្រូកុំតៃដៃទេអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំចាស់រត់តាមវាមិនតាន់ទេលោកគ្រូដាក់វាទៅតែប៉ុណ្ណេះបានដៃយើងអាគ្រូ I'm in love.
Go teach a lesson for me. Okay, so you can see that it was the 12th. You saw the trailer the last time you were at the movie and wanted to see it. Hey, Chalet is in the house. Oh, you just ordered your ticket. Excellent. Yeah, 12:40. Okay, so that's like when the heat of the day is. So you'll be there in the air conditioning during the heat of the day. So which is what we were talking about, how to beat the heat, And it is important to drink lots of water because it's very easy to get dehydrated. Oh, good. Chalet says she's over here now from wherever she was before. Thank you for choosing to join with me because, yeah, there's lots of stuff on YouTube that you could be watching and cable TV and chores. There's lots of things you can be doing, hobbies. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions for me? That's, I titled this live stream AMA, which is short for Ask Me Anything, just in case anybody didn't know that's what it means. Oh, you were doing your thing. Well, and for anybody that doesn't know, Chalet has an amazing channel with lots of funny shorts, mostly shorts. She does do live streams from her house in Florida, which is like right on the water. And sometimes you see manatees or dolphins, or fireworks or boat parades or rocket launches. But most of the time it's shorts. She does shorts and she sings little clips of songs, but And then sometimes she does little commentary type things as well, mostly like a satire, snarky, sassy. And but she uses all these filters, you know, and so they're always lots of fun. Barely any manatees and dolphins. Speaking of dolphins, I do have a news story for maybe a little bit later. I picked a couple of news stories as a backup, as a plan B, in case there's not a lot of questions or things for us to talk about. But yeah, has anybody anywhere in the world, wherever you are, when's the last time you went to a theater and watched a movie? And what was it, if you remember? Mumsy, I think it's been at least a decade or two since she's gone to the theater. Well, I take that back. I made her go with me when she came to visit in Cambodia. And that was Wonder Woman. I remember that. So Mumsy, I can answer for you. It was Wonder Woman here in Cambodia, probably 5 or 6 years ago, at least. And we went with my son, James, and somebody had a kid that was playing a game on a phone or a tablet. And it was so annoying. I finally got up and went out and got someone to like do something about it. Anyway, Mumsy says 12 years since she went to a movie. Chalet says her mother and her went to a movie. And she just went on Valentine's Day to Melania, and it was great. Okay. Stargazer says, I am a 68-year-old veteran and have medical coverage here at the VA, but can't afford private health insurance in Cambodia. Has you worried, especially after seeing what happened with Dean? Yeah. Private health insurance isn't so much. It can maybe be $568, maybe $1,000 a year, which is like maybe $100 a month. But okay, so as a veteran, then yeah, you don't, maybe you just have to pay some copays or something. I know retiring with Medicare, you actually have to pay a monthly amount that they take out of they automatically take it out of your Social Security. But if you can swing about $100 a month or so, you should be able to have some decent coverage from the insurance companies that are here in Cambodia. There are several to choose from. If you want some help with that, then you could look at websites and stuff, and even maybe chat with somebody or email them. A friend of mine works at a hospital called Central Hospital, and I had asked her before, which insurance companies pay you without any kind of hassle, because that's the one I want. I don't want one that's in a fight overpaying. I want one that's just it's easy, it's covered, it's done. And she told me the name of a few companies, and I could ask her again. Frugal says, you go every week now to the movies. The last one was Shelter with Jason Statham. I bet that was good, action movie. Suggestions or thoughts? Well, yeah, so that's what I just said. Oh, hell no. How rude. Oh, what was rude? You want to see the one with the guy from King of Queens. I think it's called Angel. I haven't heard of that one yet. Yeah, it might not have started yet. You can swing that, and that is great. Thank you. Yeah, it should be, because I think it's less than that for if I was to, I don't actually have medical insurance, but I should get it. Okay. I don't recommend not having it. Right. What I do have is a life insurance. Well, it's not life insurance. It's emergency evacuation. So if there was a serious emergency that happened that I would need to be taken care of, like a motorcycle accident or something like that, it covers that. And it also covers like the medical flight to be flown somewhere else. I'm pretty confident with the hospitals here and their abilities to treat things. You know, I can't see anything that they couldn't do here. I mean, I can't imagine anything that they couldn't do here. I know Alan and Dean had to go to Bangkok for something, but I think that was more that their insurance was insisting that they go, and not that, like, if they would have, like this time, I mean, he actually had stents put in his arteries or whatever. And that was done here in Cambodia. You know, they have heart surgeons, they have brain surgeons, they've got everything here. And so anyway, I pay like $100 a year for that. And there is like a $10,000 life insurance. Like, so like if I die, they'll cover the funeral costs. So it's not a burden on anybody. It was the insurance that made them go to Bangkok. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then in addition, because there's different types of policies, right? Like that's emergency only. So then when I had I went and I spent 3 days at Central Hospital. I went there because my friend Jessa is there. And so it was, they thought I had a lung problem. What I had was a coughing problem from a postnasal drip. And the coughing gagged me where I couldn't breathe, but that scared me. So I said, I think I should go and get this checked out. So when I said I couldn't breathe, they thought that I had some kind of asthma thing. And they did take x-rays to make sure I didn't have pneumonia, no fluid in my lungs and stuff. But they kept me there. Was it 2 nights, 3 days, 2 nights? I went in at night on emergency, but the day started like the next day. Things are way cheaper without insurance. Right. You have a friend with DVT, similar to what Alan went through, and it cost him $300 out of pocket. Right. And Alan's insurance was over $20,000. Exactly. So what happened to me, I was in there for 3 days. They had me in a nebulizer, and they were giving me antibiotics just to, make sure if I didn't, I didn't have a lung infection and stuff. And all said and done, it was under $3,000. It was between $2,000 and $3,000 for that emergency care, but it wasn't covered by the emergency policy because it wasn't an accident. I guess that's the thing. It's an accident policy. And because that wasn't an accident, it wasn't covered by the policy that I have, which I didn't really expect it to be anyway. But I know Central does it. I also know Sunrise Japan Hospital, which is the closest hospital to me and has excellent care. And I will like when I tore my ACL, I went there, and they did an MRI, which was the first. I've had a CAT scan before in the US, but I never had an MRI. And it was kind of scary being in that MRI machine, I gotta say. But they checked my knee, and we saw that my ACL was torn, but it wasn't like torn all the way across like that. It was more like that, like a rip in a curtain. And so they said they didn't do like the physical therapy. And so I would have to go someplace else for physical therapy. So I went to YouTube and stayed home and did my own physical therapy. And so that was fine, did that. But the MRI and everything was maybe like $300, maybe. It was around that. And yeah, so what they have are, you can pay for a membership type of a plan, a plan. In fact, if you guys are interested in this, let's Let me share this again. I'll tell you exactly how much it is. Sunrise Japan Hospital. Let's go to their website. Here's their website. This is the hospital. It's brand new. It was built brand new just for them. Membership. Okay. So these are one-time costs. Oh, here you go. Here's the annual fee. For the silver plan, it's $120 a year. For the gold plan, it's $320 a year. And what that does is it gives you all kinds. It doesn't show it here, but I know. See here, health checkup package. So if you're the type of, and it's 68, you want to get annual checkups where they do your blood tests, they do x-rays if they need to, they do whatever kind of exams that you need to have on an annual basis. You know, the basic is probably the silver and the advanced is gold, right? And then the bronze, if you pay $10 a year, you're going to get a discount off of the services. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Frugal says, after my moto accident, I was fixed up for $1 by Dr. Channy. Now that's true too. And there is one of the things about living in Cambodia, if you choose a community to live in, right? Don't choose a place to live because the apartment has everything that it checks all the boxes, you know. Well, I got to have aircon, obviously. I got to have hot water. I want to have a washer and dryer, and all these kind of things, right? You're checking all these boxes off of the apartment alone and not looking at the community, because the community is going to be more important. As far as like noise levels. And if you have nasty neighbors, it doesn't matter how nice the apartment is if you have to pass the nasty neighbors every day going in and out of your apartment, so it's really and plus transportation. So if you're not going to, drive a car or ride a motorcycle, and you're going to take a tuk-tuk or a taxi everywhere, that's going to add up if you have to go long distances to where you normally go. If you just stay in your apartment all the time, then okay, once in a while you take a tuk-tuk someplace. For example, we're talking about movies. If you like to go to movies, and Frugal knows $2 or $3 for the normal movie, and you want to go see a movie every day, then live next to the cinema. Right? If you like to eat out, you don't want to cook, you don't care if there's a kitchen, you're not going to be cooking anything anyway, and you like to go to different restaurants, you come to Cambodia, you stay in a guest house or a hotel, for like a month, and you find out where your favorite restaurants are, and then you live near them because that's where and then you could walk to them. Or it's at least a shorter distance and costs less than going across town and wasting time in traffic. If you like cooking, okay, so you've got an apartment, you're cooking, and you're gonna, buy, all the food that you need to cook. Which market do you the local market or the supermarket, whatever market that you're going to be going to all the time? Live close to that. If you're going to have a job. If you're here, is it Stargazer? Is that who is? Yeah, Stargazer. If you're retired, that's one thing. But if you're coming here and you're going to be working, you don't want to have a commute every day to your job. You want to have the shortest commute possible. So you get that job, and then you get someplace close to that job, and then on Friday nights you go out or whatever. But that everyday commute, you want that to be as short as possible, both for your time and for your money. So back to what, $1 by Dr. Chani. If you don't know who he's referring to, that Chani was my helper that used to live here with me. Now she's moved on. The neighborhood will take care of you. Your neighbors, when you have good neighbors, they check on you, how you doing, be friendly with people, and then if you have some kind of injury, and they can get you the local Cambodian herbal remedies. They know where to go get that stuff, and they'll go get it for you. You have a headache, they're going to show you what to do for your headache. You have a bruise or some kind of like a sprained ankle or something. And they're gonna help you open the door. They're gonna carry your groceries. Cambodians are so friendly and helpful and generous and kind. Yeah, you could have a nasty neighbor, all right, but that's the exception, and that's what I mean. If you're only looking at the apartment itself, you might get stuck with a nasty neighbor. But if you're looking at the community, it's much more likely, hey, traveling fools, yo, yo, yo. Find a community where you're going to fit. And that's my best advice for that. And they'll invite you to dinner. If you like drinking beer, if you want to retire and sit around and drink beer, then live on the riverside where they have all the cheap beer, and the girly bars and all of that, if that's what you want, right? Not for me, but some people, that's their thing. Then live near that, live on the riverside. Anything else? Please ask me some questions about here in Cambodia, and I will answer for you. I don't know what you guys have on your mind, what you think. When I first moved here, there was no camping gear. You couldn't buy camping gear. Nobody sold it, right? And now there's all kinds of camping gear because Cambodians have discovered camping. And the young people, they love going out on the weekends or when there's a holiday. They'll go to the waterfalls or the mountains and go camping. So that's an interesting thing. I'd love to go camping. I haven't been camping here in Cambodia, but I would love to do that. There's so many things you can do. If you like ecotourism and the environment and wild animals and stuff like that, and that you can find that. If you like luxury, there's so much high-end luxury stuff here. You're going to pay for it. It's going to be less than other places, probably. It's going to be cheaper, but yeah, there's plenty of that here too. And sometimes you just need kind of a comfort break in a way, like for Western society kind of thing. Then that's when I go to I'll go to a Hard Rock Cafe and order potato skins. So about once every 4 months or so, I'll go to Hard Rock Cafe and get potato skins, and they're so good. But they're like $10, which maybe is like normal for the US, but here, you can get most meals $5 or less. All right. So for me to pay $10 for potato skins, it's like I think it's 5 potato skins, comes with real sour cream. But they also have lunch specials that are between $5 to $8. And I usually get one that's around $7. And the lunch special for $7 comes with a drink. I get iced tea, but I think you could have soda or whatever. It comes with, well, first they give you a salad, You get a drink, then they bring you the main course, and then they bring you fruit for dessert. And and then you got all the rock music and stuff playing and everything. And that's kind of a nice break. Another place I like to go for a break is Kema restaurant. They're more French oriented, but it's like you're walking into Europe. You go walk in the doors, it's like you're in Europe. You know, you hate pretending to be homeless, aka camping. That's so funny. Yeah, it is a good deal. And at Kema, so like, I mean, Bob and I would sometimes go to do our crosswords there, and for $12, I think, and then they got a 10% VAT, VAT tax, and a 10% service charge. But under $15, you get an all-you-can-eat buffet breakfast, and you can order breakfast like eggs or whatever off of the menu. So you can order anything as much as you want on the menu, and then they also have a buffet set up. And I mean, they have decaf coffee, which is like, for me, I need decaf. And so we would have like 2 or 3 coffees. We'd have 2 or 3 croissants. A coffee would normally be $2.50 to $3, right? So 2 coffees, you're up to $6. A croissant is $2. So 2 coffees and 2 croissants would be $10, right? Plus all the other food that you're eating. Because we would sit there for like 3. We'd get there at like when they opened at 6:30 a.m. and then it ends at like 11. So we would be there for like 4 hours eating. So we're eating like breakfast and lunch. We'd have to pace ourselves, So that's another thing. And now closer to me, there's actually an Eric Kaiser bakery that has a restaurant because it's in a hotel. And they have $11, buffet. But I mean, yeah, once every 2 or 3 months for that, because I just can't afford any more than that right now. Good memories. Yeah, with Bob and I, it was fun. It was good. Which is why, if you don't know, Bob and I did crosswords. And so every Monday I do crossword puzzles. We do one crossword puzzle on Mondays, and in his honor. And it's fun because you're always learning new vocabulary and everything. It's a good time. I don't have a lot of people join, but yeah, I like it. And like I said, it's in Bob's memory, so I'll just keep doing it. Even if there's just, 2 or 3 people or whatever, that's fine. But the more the merrier, So if you're interested, you can join on Mondays. As far as food and restaurants, there's like every kind of nationality. I mean, Phnom Penh is so cosmopolitan. How was lunar Chinese, the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year? Yeah, quiet. They banned fireworks and stuff. But I do have a couple of news stories, so maybe I'll segue to that right now. Apparently there was a brawl between the lion dance, two different lion dance companies got into a brawl on the street. I was like, what? So let me bring this back up and share this tab instead. Rival Chinese New Year dragon dancers clash in Phnom Penh. So here's the lion dancers. I don't know if this is the brawl. They're reported to have scuffled in Phnom Penh. On Choi Chum Var. Wow, no, I didn't hear anything. Yeah, 5 to 6 a.m. That's why, because I was sleeping 5 to 6 a.m. They're calling it the Chinese Vietnamese New Year. That Mumsy, you said Lunar New Year. Yeah, the Vietnamese call it Tet, but yeah, it's like the same time. So the two groups performed, and then they clashed with each other. They exchanged words and were about to use violence, but no injuries were caused because the association intervened. If you've never seen these lion dance things, they're pretty cool. And here, I guess this is the mob forming before they got heated. So, but for me, yeah, it was quiet. Things were quiet. Another story. The government ramps up a job drive for returning migrant workers. So because of the whole border clash thing, a lot of Cambodians have come back to Cambodia, and the government has been doing a really good job. If you remember, like during the Great Depression, I guess it was FDR and his New Deal, but there were so many people out of work that they created jobs, and so they're doing a lot to make sure that everybody has a job. It says more than 620,000 people have found employment. There's 950 returnees, so that's more than half. And the labor ministry says that there are enough openings for everybody. And so they're really looking at, their job placement and skills training. Yeah. So, they're facing logistical and economic challenges to do this, but they're doing it. And 30,000 returnees have enrolled in the training program to upgrade their skills or learn new ones. So that's a really good thing that they're doing. Lion Brawl, was it the main event? Oh, Traveling Fools. Good one, good one. Okay, let's come over here. It says that a rare whale shark sighting was reported off the Kokong coast. Oh, maybe it's rare over there because the Kokong is kind of on the western side of Cambodia in the Gulf of Thailand, whereas the southern part of Cambodia, which is more the Straits of Malacca, they're common there, but maybe they don't go in the Gulf of Thailand as much. Or maybe it's just that they don't get, most people don't get to see them. And so, it isn't a whale sharks are endangered. It approached a vessel at an artificial fish habitat maintained by Marine Conservation Cambodia. They said, about 10 times a year, they spot the whale sharks. So that's nice. Great picture. And then I have another animal one for you, and that is the Irrawaddy dolphins, which are extremely endangered. They had a calf. The first calf has been sighted for 2026. Now, the population, they're not having enough calves to sustain their population. There's less than 100 of these, and you'll notice they don't have the long nose like Florida dolphins. They have a more rounded face, and there's less than 100 adults and calves. There's less than 100 of this species left. The Mekong Irrawaddy dolphin. Thailand has some, Laos has some, but I think they're a slightly different species compared to the ones that are actually here in Cambodia. And so and most of the time their calves, die. So they're not reproducing enough to sustain the pod. Our dolphins are pods, right? So this is a great thing, and there is some video. So let's check it out.
នៅថ្ងៃទី 18 ខែកុម្ភៈ ក្រសួងកសិកម្ម រុក្ខាប្រមាញ់ និងនេសាទ បានបញ្ជាក់ថា កូនផ្សោតទើបនឹងកើតមួយក្បាល ត្រូវបានគេប្រទះឃើញហែលទឹកនៅក្នុងអន្លង់កំពី ដោយផ្ដល់នូវក្តីសង្ឃឹមថ្មីសម្រាប់ការមានផ្សោតដ៏ជិត
So, oops, wait. Yeah. Okay, the calf was born on the 14th and first spotted the Fisheries Administration and the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF. So it's up to 113 now. So that's actually good, because I remember when it was under 100. River patrols and habitat protection are helping rebuild the population. So yeah, it's an encouraging 10. There were 8 newborn calves born in 2025 and 9 in 2024. It's on the red list. It's critically endangered for the Mekong Irrawaddy dolphin. It's recognized as a national treasure under Cambodian law. And the health, it's a good sign of biodiversity and everything of the river, the health of the river and the ecosystem. Okay, so that's that. Did you know the orca is the largest dolphin? I had forgotten that. I absolutely had. If you had asked me about that, I would have forgotten. But I think at one time I did know that. But yeah, pretty cool, huh? Orcas, otherwise known as killer whales. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we had like an amusement park, whatever, called Marine World, and so they had the killer whale shows, the dolphin shows, they had camel rides, they had elephant rides. Yeah, it was a great place growing up. And as long as the animals are, kept in a way that is similar to their habitat, I think it's an amazing thing to have good zoos and marine shows and things. I think, how happy is your dog when it learns to do tricks? I think, even circuses, as long as they're, because they're exposing people to these animals. I grew up going to the circus and seeing elephants and lions, and going to Marine World and going to San Francisco Zoo. My mom says she took me to San Diego Zoo once when I was like a baby, but I was too little to remember that. But that exposure to animals helped me care about, I care today about animals because I grew up with them. Now, should any animal be just left in a cage? No. I don't agree with that. Should you use, torture to train for tricks? No, I don't agree with that. Okay. But for a well cared for animal in a zoo, let me tell you, they've won the lottery ticket. Because if they're out in the wild, people forget that the wild is called wild because it's wild? There's predators. If they get hurt, there's not going to be anybody taking care of them and giving them medicine. They're not going to have a consistent diet. They're going to eat what they can catch, and stuff. So yeah, I think, they've got all the food they want. They've got medical attention. They live longer, in captivity than they do in the wild. Does that mean every wild animal should be in captivity? No. Of course there's animals in the wild, and I think that there's a lot of conservation that needs to be done. I think that when it comes to wildlife conservation, I think the biggest problem is poachers, and the only reason people are poaching is because there's a demand. So you've got to get rid of the demand for animal parts, whichever animal, whichever kind of parts, that's the only way that you're going to stop it. It's not just the law on catching the poachers, which is a good thing. You want to have laws, you want to catch the poachers, but there's just going to be another poacher until you get rid of the demand. So that's my little soapbox on that. And there's plenty of wildlife here, even snakes and stuff, snakes and spiders and stuff. I think Australia is probably worse for spiders, and I don't see many snakes. But sometimes you see, like here in Phnom Penh, you'll see hornbills. The bird hornbill and the greater adjunct, which the two look very similar, but their beaks are a little bit different. And you'll see them around in the trees. Yeah. And there's a wildlife rescue center that's maybe hour and a half, 2 hours south of Phnom Penh called Phnom Tamau. And you can go there and see the wildlife. In Siem Reap, there's like a gibbon place where you can go see gibbons. Of course, there's like, how in the US, there's squirrels. The parks and stuff have squirrels. Well, you will see monkeys around, even in Phnom Penh, but there's like certain areas in Kep and in fact, Angkor Wat has otters. And unfortunately, one otter got hit by a car, and it was in the news that it passed away. But so there's otters, there's gibbons, there's and I guess I don't know why I always want to call them macaw. I know the parrot is a macaw, but I thought the monkey was pronounced the same way, but it's not. It's macaque, and so the generic macaque monkeys are like squirrels here. Get rid of trophy hunting too. There you go. Not just poaching, but trophy hunting. Absolutely. If you just want to kill an animal just to kill it, that's not good. I'll tell you, when I was in Utah, my friend Eric and I went out to go like rabbit hunting and stuff. And we not caught, I shot a rabbit and we brought it home and we cooked it and everything. It's tough. Oh my God, it was so tough. I couldn't eat it and I was crying and I like kind of had a panic attack and threw a fit because I couldn't eat it. I was like, I wanted to be this like homesteader kind of person, being able to live off the land. And, I shot the rabbit, I skinned the rabbit, I cleaned it, I prepared it, I marinated it, I cooked it, and then I couldn't eat it. I was so upset. But anyway, while we were out there, I heard a bird singing. And it, just got my attention because it was singing. It's a bird. It sings. It was doing what it was made to do. And so I looked and I saw it way far away, more than 100 yards away. It was like on not like the telephone pole size things, but the big power grid kind of the electric the big trussels or trestle or something. They're made of metal and they kind of go they're real tall. And that bird was up there, and I heard it, and I looked around and I saw it up there. I took my rifle, to see if I was a good enough shot to get it. And I did. And that little bird was doing nothing but singing and watching its body bloop, 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 fall to the ground from up there broke my heart. And so, yeah, I could never do trophy. And so if it doesn't break your heart, there's something wrong with you. I did it. I admit I did it. And I did not feel good about it. Even though it's like I made the shot. That was an awesome shot. to get that small little bird. It was a songbird. It wasn't like an eagle or something, which you wouldn't be able to like, I mean, that would be totally illegal to kill a bird of prey, but it was just a songbird, which was small, like the size of a robin or something. And to hit it from that far away was like an amazing shot, but I felt horrible. And so I agree, Frugal. Trophy hunting needs to stop too. You know, they used to do it here in Cambodia. You used to be able to get a rocket launcher. There was like a gun range where you could shoot all these, you could shoot all kinds of weapons that were left over from the war. So there was this shooting. Then when I moved here, you could still do this. I don't know if there's still a shooting range, but they have outlawed shooting cows. But that was a thing that these trophy hunter kind of people, wanted to shoot a rocket launcher at a cow, and they'd pay whatever the cow was worth, they'd pay, and they would shoot the cow with a rocket launcher. You know, it's sickening. And so it's against the law now. So they don't, of course, if you wanted to pay enough money, you could probably find somebody that would let you do that if there's still a gun range around. But it was like an advertised kind of thing. You know, people would come to Cambodia so they could shoot a cow with a rocket launcher. No, that's sick. It's one way to make ground beef. Yeah, if you pick up all the pieces. Yeah, that's nasty. That's just nasty. But anyway, well, it's been an hour. Does anybody have a last question? This is Piggy, by the way. The black one you saw earlier, that was Baby Wilbur. Sorry, I didn't introduce you. This is Mr. Piggy. Traveling Fools is laughing about the ground beef comment. It's good to have a sense of humor, you know. I don't mind. I don't mind a sense of humor. And so, well, if there's no other questions, then I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. You know, I want to make sure everybody knows that love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you're watching this, for those of you right now, for those of you on replay, whenever, I love you. So, and that will reach you. My love will reach you wherever and whenever you're watching this, because love's like that. It's quantum stuff, spiritual, amazing stuff. It can be scientifically measured now. Yeah, it'll reach you. It's kind of like with the, what do they call the pairing in quantum? When they get the molecules to pair together and then they can separate them, and you do something to one and the other one also gets it. Hugs, everyone. There's a word for it. I don't know. It escapes me right now. I wonder if I could look it up really quick. I'll just put quantum pairing. Thinking. It has to think about it. Particle. Yeah. Oh, entanglement. That's the word. Did anybody say it? No. Okay. Quantum entanglement. And that was actually, before we started talking about quantum, it was actually tested on plants, where these plants became entangled quantumly, and then they separated them, and like they would like do something to one plant. Like, for example, if you have a lighter and you put the lighter near the plant's leaves, and it will like try to move away from the flame, the other plant that was moved like to another country would also try to move away from the flame because it could feel it. You know, this stuff, yeah, it's real. It's real. So my love will reach you. So thank you so much for joining me today for all this chit chat about Cambodia. Hope you enjoyed it. I will go live again tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And it's a Thursday. So if there's something true crime, we might do that. Or if we'll just do movie trivia or general trivia or some if I see some kind of cool game or something that we can play, you know, whatever. Thursday is the wild card. Wild card Thursday. Oh, that would work for wild card Wednesday. That would has a nice ring to it. But okay, tomorrow, Thursday, is the wild card day. I hope you join me, and we can have fun together again. So until the next time, catch you later.